Welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for MATIC. Now going to my primary count, I have this as an ABC, as a 3, 3, looking for 5 waves up for our C wave. Pretty much from right now to keep this count intact. But I wanted to show you my alternative because if we fail, I'd be looking for a triangle where we make one more low to the downside and protect the C wave around 50 cents. Before attempting moving to all-time highs. So those are the two main counts I have that I'm tracking at the moment. So we'll dig into this one on the smaller time frames. First of all, we had a diagonal to the upside. We then had a 3-wave move to the downside. Came just shy of the 618, between the 50 and the 618, which is expected. And we came through the 618 on linear scale. So we're right at the pivots we would expect. The only thing I'm concerned about, which I've mentioned to you guys on previous videos, if you're new, is this C wave I have labeled here on this low can also qualify as a B wave because we came between the 1.236 and the 382 extension of our B wave here. So if it moves over, it would get adjusted over to here. We'd look for a 1-to-1 extension of this wave and look for that move to the downside, which would just make a larger correction with a running flat in between, and this would be our E wave in that triangle situation I mentioned. So that's how we fail. That's what's so difficult about running flats when you don't come to target, because the 1-to-1 extension as labeled as an ABC, we came up shy of, which was there at 64.7 cents right here. That would have been ideal to get confident on this bottom being in, but until then we have to go with probabilities, and we know that we have a nice potential 5-wave move to the upside. And if we fail, we know where we're going next. So keeping tight stops on my trades. So go down to the 1 hour. Let's go down to the 15-minute actually, off this low. So I have this as diagonal wave 1. Last video we were looking for this ABC. We got that. And the question is, what's happening here? Now I have several ideas on this one, but the important thing on both is that we should protect this order block in the 1 hour right here. We shouldn't drop below this low to keep this count intact. Now I have two separate counts on this, and just talking on our previous, we had a 3-wave here. This could be a complex correction as a WXY. We could come to the 1.236 and the 382 extension of this wave here, which is right here between 85 and 86 cents. We could then make 3 or 5 back, and this entire move becomes a 335 flat before attempting our move to the upside. Now I prefer the count being complete here for trading purposes, and the reason being is we want this to be a larger 1 and 2, or a micro 1 and 2, so we can make that third wave to the upside. Now flats happen in wave 2s if it's a super bullish market, but the longer this takes, the more likely it's a B wave. B waves can eat up in time a lot. Wave 1 and wave 2s usually take, just guidelines, not rules, but usually take between 618 and 1-to-1 of the previous wave. So we prefer in our bullish count that this is our bottom for our 2. You can see our 611 and the 1-to-1, which is the extension of this wave in time. So if this is complete and this is our ABC, like so, the question is, how do we trade this, right? It's not pretty, but the way I would label it in that case is we're literally making a smaller diagonal here for our micro 1-2. And that would look like this. This would be our 1, 2. I measured this. I believe it comes to the 1.382, and we get an extended fifth wave on the micro. Let me bump this one up so you understand. We're at 1 degree higher over here. So we got ABC, ABC, A, B. We're completing the C right here basically as a double top in a diagonal. Could come a little higher too, but you can see the trouble is we come right into that B zone. So we literally have 50-50 chance of this coming down or it being a diagonal. But the other important thing is if this is our A wave in a larger flat, we expect to defend this A wave, right? And flat, running flat, we defend the A wave. The only way we would fail is if this is the end of a correction and this is a 3-3-3-3 or 5-3-5, sorry, as a diagonal, and we're making that E wave to the downside. So if this is an A, B, C coming down, again, we should defend this low, come down, take off. Or if it's a 1, 2, we should defend this low also. A 1, 2, right? So both of our bullish cases have us defending this low, which is good for probabilities on our side. The only way we fail is if we're done making that E wave or this becomes a expanded flat, which is kind of screws everybody in the market. Screws the longs, screws the shorts. Screws the longs here because we break this low. Screws the shorts because we reverse after. So I'm watching this one and expecting a little bit higher if this is a expanded diagonal as a smaller one too. But I will put my retracement tool on whenever it's complete. Oop, wrong one. And I'll add the 382 on there. And my zone I like to buy in is pretty much right here, 38250 and the 618, depending on what the correction looks like. But again, expect it to take about the same amount of time as this wave to pan out. You can use the time tool if you like. Expect to hold this level as support and ideally hold above these previous areas here. So a nice light retracement. And then you know what comes next in Elliott Wave. We'd have a 1, 2, 1, 2, bang, off we go for our third. All right, guys, so that's it for MATIC. Remember, if we break below these levels, I actually would switch probabilities that we're getting that E wave. But until then, it looks pretty good. Also, let me just throw this on. Another thing, just as a guideline, not a rule, is I don't need this pitchfork anymore. You can throw on a pitchfork here off our first 1, 2, and we'd like to hold within the pitchfork. We can come out slightly, or at worst case, a modified pitchfork, but we don't want to break that. To keep this count intact as 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, guys, that's it for MATIC. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like my videos, and I will catch you on the next one.